Peace. And happy now. Now's a vibrate, of course. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. Right now. Right now. I want to speak on how, as reflections, we are God on the human experience. We are the universe on the human experience. And as above, so below, we are like, like the biggest aspect of God and the smallest aspects of God, like they're all one and the same, and operate the same, just on different levels or different magnitudes, so to speak. But, what I'm about to talk about, like, which I may go into another subject but for sure, first off, just how, like, as a reflection, or as a being that has reflections, let's say that, as a being that has reflections, I'm not gonna overwork myself to, say, for instance, like, we want to be well-rounded as far as, like, different information, like I want to know a little bit about, say, for instance, business, a little bit about crystals, a little bit about, you know, occult, like, just a little bit about everything, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we all have a unique soul purpose, something that we are uniquely good at. So as much as we do want to be, quote unquote, well-rounded in our vibration or in our essence, you definitely want to hone in on your particular skill, or your particular uniqueness, that you're here to bring forth to the world. Because in essence, the iron sharpen iron in the vibration of having reflections, As a matter of fact, I use this is like my science, the way I operate, but as far as, like, I get information on certain subjects that I really like and I really love, you know what I'm saying? And then, in essence, like, of course, how they talk about, if you're a student of the occult, you learn, of course you learn, as much as you can, but say, for instance, there are certain things that you may gravitate towards more, certain things that you are more skillful at, as far as, like, or it's more easier for you to learn, in essence. But what I'm getting to is, like, I'm not gonna overstudy a subject that one of my reflections is great at, because I could, build with that reflection, and learn through building with that reflection, you know what I'm saying? Because, again, I am God on the human experience, interacting with all the aspects of myself. So we are a figment, because when we say, like, oh, we are a figment of God's mind, but we are God too. So, you know what I'm saying? So the aspects around us, are aspects of God mind as well. Like, matter of fact, like the fractals of, like, every piece of the whole is in every piece, every smaller piece, you know what I'm saying? So even though, like, so God, we are a figment of God's imagination, or we are God's dream, and then we are God. So within our physical being, the world around us is like our dream, in essence, or our, our thoughts manifested. And since we are collectively creating, in essence, to a certain extent, we control each other. That's another thing I'm gonna get on to, in which a lot we don't really say it that raw in a lot of cases, but in essence, we indirectly control each other to a certain extent, and I'll get into that. But again, with having reflections, you know, and we all have, unique skill sets, unique vibrations, I'm going to learn what I gravitate towards in astrology, say, for instance, but I know I got a reflection somewhere that studies astrology day and night, and that I could, go and build with, and learn this just as quick as reading too. Because, for me, and that's another thing, we all uniquely different. I'm better at like listening to lectures, like almost like auditory learning. So I don't read as much. I'm surprised at how much I do read, honestly, as a especially as somebody who smoke herb, because you smoke herb, you kind of more into your right brain, so it's more into the feminine artistic vibe. So you're not really trying to sit down and look at words, and be super logical dealing with some words. But again, as different reflections, we have certain skill sets. So again, with myself, what I'm saying, I know I'm a better auditory learner, so I'm not gonna try to overdo myself and try to overlearn astrology like just all at once, or overlearn I don't know, just whatever subject though that I'm not really gravitating towards like that. Matter of fact, say for instance, that's why I catch myself in my higher self, the universe, keeps me honed in on the crystals vibe, you know what I'm saying? Because every time I kind of drift off, it's just something. But at the same time, drifting off, not because I'm not adamant or I'm not like real into the crystal information, but again, like in that moment, my focus or higher self, the ancestors bringing my focus to something else. You know what I'm saying? In that moment, but again, my one of my main focuses in essence is dealing with crystals. You know what I'm saying? And I like learning about the different molecular structures and how they really give off energy and how we interface with them. So with me being so into the crystal knowledge, another person who's more adept at, say for instance, the like Dan Winters with phase conjugation, you know what I'm saying? I could use my iron to sharpen his iron, so my crystal knowledge, you know what I'm saying, I could share with him and he could share the phase conjugate, you know what I'm saying? Or like Brother Panic extensive with you know what I'm saying? The esoteric Hollywood stuff and Necronomicon and dealing with altar work, stuff like that. So I would, you know, instead of trying to overdo myself, learning that, I would just learn from that reflection. And again, that's just how I operate, because I work smart, not hard, on all levels. You know what I'm saying? So say for instance, and this is something I don't necessarily advise to everybody. It's kind of like one of those situations, like like I always kind of like Uncle Universal could get away with this, but I don't know if this is for everybody, but like using your intuition to soak in knowledge, where like say for instance, again, I don't read like a bunch of books just front to back all day every day. I use my intuition. My intuition guide me to watching a video. I watch that video and it'd be like, this part right, that part wrong, you know. Because you like to be a perfectionist, go research a little more on that part. You know what I'm saying? It's my high self talking to me. You know what I'm saying? So after getting that little download from my high self, I don't have to do extra research, just in the sense of like, well, society or the construct of what they say is, what I'm saying, basically this identity that somebody created of what's the true, say for instance, a depth or whatever, you know what I'm saying? If you read all these books, it's like, nah, I'm not gonna read no books just for the sake of saying like, oh man, yeah, I'm getting down with the knowledge, I read the books, when I got an intuition that points me to the knowledge without me having to go through all those books, you know what I'm saying? Now there's an asterisk by that, because of course that's just for me getting the knowledge. Now if I want to teach better on certain subjects, then of course, it is better to read and go more in depth so you could be able to speak on it. But some, again, that would be for, all right, let me learn this so I could speak on it, or let me, read extras so I could, be like a walking encyclopedia, which in essence for me that would be more of an egotistical thing. Like, that would be an egoic mind anyway. So I'm not trying to, like, of course I like knowledge and like to share it, but again, with that vibe, being careful you not getting into that egotistical vibe of like, I'm just getting knowledge, so I could be like, hey, I got this knowledge. Did you know that in 1960 something this happened? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to get in that vibe either. But which to each his own, of course. But uh, again, with being strong on certain subjects, and so basically, when I talk about having a unique vibrational signature, and all of us having a unique purpose, being good or great at certain things, or matter of fact, are kind of like the potluck, like a universal potluck, like, the person that's good at the fries should be the person bringing the fries. Like the person that's good at making cakes shouldn't try to make the fries. The person good at fries shouldn't try to bake no cakes. You know, whichever, again, like, so staying in our lane, so to speak. So of course we want to learn and become well rounded, and learn a little bit about astrology, learn a little bit about crystal, learn, what I'm saying. But let it be something that our heart and soul desiring to really learn about. And again, you know, realizing that you have reflections out there that has those pieces to your informational puzzle, so you don't have to overwork yourself on a mental level, or just learning in general, because as above so below, uh you are a God and everything around you is you. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to experience all of yourself through this one vessel, in essence. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's part, it's other aspect, because in essence that's why all the stuff outside of you exists. You could be, so say for I could just be one being with all the information that exists ever just at my fingertips at all times, but then why would I want to experience being around nobody, or why would I even have books around me? Why? Like, it wouldn't be nothing to experience if I knew all and everything. You know what I'm saying? So again, I know, of course, the knowledge of everything exists in all of us, but as far as like what we tapping into, from our particular bodysuit, we tap into a more specific line, as above so below. Just like how, instead of just calling upon God in general, you had certain deities that were, which gave a more specificness to the type of energy of God you want to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with us, you know what I'm saying? Where we are like little specific energies, you know what I'm saying? Like miniature gods that you could call upon, you know what I'm saying? Call upon the Capricorn gods to deal with your business, this and that. Call upon uh the Cancer god for the nurturing vibes, you know what I'm saying? For all the Cancer, you know what I'm saying? Like, but again, it's a vibration of iron sharpening iron, and this is not no excuse to be lazy and not study. This is not what this is. Because again, I do my work. I do read my book, man. I mean, y'all see, my tablets and stuff like that. I'm not trying to use this as no excuse. Like, I got my paperwork. I gets down, but at the same time, again, not just doing it because, well, they say you got to read a lot of books, so they, you know what I'm saying, like, don't pursue it, in that manner. And again, your reflection. I'm here for a reason. You're here for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever I'm not getting, because matter of fact, because I'm constantly studying about crystals and studying what I love. You know what I'm saying? I won't really have time to be adept or go into other subjects. You know what I'm saying? But that's what you for, as a reflection. So when me and you connect at the little social spot or wherever, at the coffee shop or whatever, or we just decide to link up, we connect and exchange that information, you know what I'm saying? And then you get to see too, as above so below, how the whole aspect of this is just like immune system as humans, where we exchange information. Bam, I run it with somebody, then they go back where they from. I go back where I'm from, or we decide we traveling. I go to another little part of the earth. They go and and we share the information that we just share with each other, expanding it to another place. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. A cell goes from the brain, takes some information to the chest area. You know, in the chest area, gotta send that signal down to the kneecap. You know, like it, just information moving. You know, but again, want to be well rounded and you know have a little knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, one of the things where I keep myself well rounded, like I stay into like business information, you know what I'm saying? So even though I'm more into the aspect of being a guide about my manifestation and like looking at it from a more magical and like what I focus on grows visualizations in a more magical place. I still read up whenever I get a chance on business information, but that's not the area that I came down here in essence to be particularly adept at as far as sharing information about business. You know what I'm saying? But I know I got a reflection that's good at it. Same thing like with as we grow as a business, as above so below. We grow as a business. We start to expand. As you start to expand, just like God, you know, you need certain little aspects. Now you gotta expand. So say for instance, you need an accountant now or a manager. You know what I'm saying? So it's like these little fractals of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Gets created. Because you're expanding. Just like God, as above, so below. So just like as a business, you know what I'm saying, you start to expand, then you got to rely on the other aspects of, your other reflections, the other aspects of yourself, you know. And that's all we are. We are one, we are God experiencing itself through different bodies, on all levels. God experiencing itself as the wind, as the water, as a human, as an animal, as all levels. We basically are God experiencing itself on all different levels. You know what I'm saying? Because in this human body, as God, I get to see how I am as an animal. Like, look at me as a squirrel. Like, look at me as a tree. Like, and how I just sit around all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get to view myself, like, because, God in essence don't have no mirror. So it's like the mirror is this creation of us being in a physical existence. Thank God for the devil for coming into this physical experience. You know, but that's just definitely the vibe. And two, I was talking about and I kind of always bring up this about how we figments of each other's imagination, where like we manifest each other into each other's experience. You know what I'm saying? But I think about this situation I had in LA a couple weeks back, where basically I had got off the bus. Like I was headed to I don't know where I was headed. I think I was headed towards Venice. I was coming from somewhere, and basically I had like a point of just being indecisive. I'm like, man, should I go to Venice? Should I go downtown? Should I? And so as I was leaving, I think the downtown area, I hopped off in a certain area. And even when I hopped off, I'm like, man, why? Like, why you even hopped off? Like, why here? This and that. But didn't, of course, didn't ponder too much more about it. Hopped on the bus, went back downtown. Then come the next day, I had a friend that works at matter of fact, shout out to Tins and Beads in LA. But I went around there, and one of the one of the ladies that work in Tenzin, she was like, "Oh man, I saw you the other day by the bus stop or whatever." And I automatically knew what she was talking about. I was like, you talking about like I was in like Koreatown. I'm like, you talking about that? She's like, yeah. And she showed me a little video, where she saw me standing up outside, and she was like, yeah, I was tripping balls, and I was passing, I saw you out there, and I'm like, and I caught the download, like, where I was just I was a little prop to her journey, you know what I'm saying? So basically, again, seeing how we control each other in essence was, say for instance, the less conscious focus you have on what you're doing, the more you kind of fall into the vibe of just going with the flow of what's going on in the collective, you know what I'm saying? So at that point when I was like, I don't know if I want to go to this and that, I didn't have no real focal point. So in that moment, it just had me in that little place to be a visual prop in essence, for the sister's, her little psychedelic journey, you know what I'm saying? Which it was a case maybe for her to, watch some of my videos or connect with, you know what I'm saying? But, whatever it is in her realm, you know what I'm saying, what's going on, it manifested me into being in that spot, for a reason. And, again, because I was lacking conscious focus on what I was doing, I became, in essence, that's when we become subject to the manifestations of the collective, you know what I'm saying? Like I always bring up about like where, that one split second of you deciding to like, oh, I don't want to go to the grocery store. Let me just go back to the hair salon, you know, and then you go to the hair salon and find somebody that was looking, in my case, I go to the hair salon and find somebody that was looking for some bracelets, you know, and it's like, all right, that's why I didn't go to the store. But reason two why that manifested like that, because I'm a figment of somebody's imagination. Somebody was sitting at that hair salon like, man, I really want some crystal bracelets, man. I really, you know what I'm saying? Like, was really strong about it compared to me not being strong about going to the grocery store. So, and not only I'm not strong about going to the grocery store, but there is the essence in me where I deal with braces and I would like to sell my braces. So even though that's not my focus in that moment, because it is a part of my focus and somebody else focus on it, it's like all right, well, that come together. So it's like, all right, scratch the store out, and go to this hair salon, and I'm wondering like why I caught the urge to not go to the store when I done just walked like 5 blocks to get, I was like right around the corner from the store, and now I'm being told in my mind to go back, way somewhere else. And again, these situations may not seem logical to you, that's the way the intuition comes off a lot of times, but may not seem logical, but it's the situation. The universe is leading you to a situation that's beneficial for you in some way, form, or fashion. So yeah, it's basically, so since I didn't know where I was going in that moment, I basically, the universe was like, all right, well then, chill out right here, and you're gonna be a prop in this person's psychedelic journey right now, since you don't know where you headed right now, you know. And that's the whole vibe, with the again, the uniqueness of the different reflections, matter of fact, even down to like with on YouTube, where you got different reflections. You could look at a Ralph Smart, a Young Pharaoh, a Brother Panic, a Nature Boy, what it is, Seven Beaumont, like, like we all different and got our uniqueness, you know what I'm saying, to ourselves. Matter of fact, much love and blessings to all the brethren and sister and that's with the YouTube vibe, sharing information. You know, no matter if some of them may be going through things, where they may be battling it out against each other. It's just energies that has to be transmuted. So if you do see some of your favorite YouTubers going at it in essence, don't judge them. Don't hold it against them. They going through something, man. We going through, man. There's some big changes we going through. A matter of fact, that's another thing too. Like, cause if you become super judgmental, that's in essence because you probably super judgmental of yourself in some way, and that's something I kind of slipped into, of like just being over judgmental of myself, and then it would kind of somewhat seep into like unconsciously being judgmental towards situations outside of me. Love the reflections for where they at and for the uniqueness. We all unique, you know what I'm saying, on our vibes for a reason. If I was doing information the same as so and so doing the same as so, like, why would there even be different individuals to watch if we would all be doing the same thing, acting the same, talking the same, you know what I'm saying? All adept at the same knowledge, where the learning coming if you're hearing the same thing, or compared to where all of us have different experiences and go through different things and uniquely different, and we talk on these subjects from our unique perspectives, you know what I'm saying, in which it provides more insight, because when you could watch three different people, and even though they so uniquely different, you'll find a truth in the fact of where they all kind of touched on a certain particular subject within the context of astrology or within the context of a certain chakra. Everybody kind of touched on a certain line, so you get to learn, like, all right, even with everybody with their uniqueness and different outlooks, everybody kind of said this one same thing, so you get to learn in that manner as well. But I digress. Just Sharon, don't overwork yourself. You got reflections out here, to help you not overwork yourself, and I'm following that advice, as I always say, like when I make videos, and that's just the psychological situation of just how we are in essence. In most cases what we speaking on is a play on something that to a certain extent of what we dealing with, what we want to deal with, but just in some way, form, or fashion, as I'm speaking on this is also me speaking to myself, as always. But I digress. Peace. Happy now. Now is the vibe rate. The rate at which we are vibing. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. Right now. Peace.